close are you? I forgot how fast that little latency was. Normally I used to click on the button and it takes like a good 30 seconds before anybody says anything. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I used to have an extra step of setting up my webcam, but I don't have to do that anymore. The new place. Yeah. No mic also needed to put it there. So I click yes. Well, I figured out that YouTube originally used to have it where it would do your preview pictures at 1/3, or like the beginning. No, it wasn't the beginning. It was like 2/3, 1/3, like somewhere in the middle that they would always figure it out. But they've adjusted it where now it's like one of them is about the first minute or two. So if I put a stupid face at the beginning, I can choose for the stream usually one of this stupid face as the title card. So I usually try to do it and let it sit for about a minute or two, and then it makes it so I can be lazy. so there's a reason for it. Actually, I started a minute late because I almost forgot to set one up. But I need to undo everything because I don't want to actually have that saved. Just want to make sure I got the webcam set to run to that. It feels like I belong there. Actually, I could probably set myself like inside the console. I wonder if that can work. Alright, we're gonna... Wait, can I do arrow keys? Yes, I can. Okay. Okay, I think I'm in the console now. Am I? Oh, well, I gotta go one more over. Okay, almost there. Let's move a little bit more. There. I am part of SFM now. I'm in canon. It's actually really weird looking. Actually, I think I'm too high. Perfectionism. Oh, I don't want to move the whole screen. Yeah, I think that's better. All right. Yes. Well, here we go. Command. That's delete Arco. Maybe we can see if that does anything. Oh, it did. It did. No, it is. I see the button. It said unknown command delete. Apparently. Okay, it's a good thing that there wasn't. Otherwise, I'd probably just accidentally delete something. Anyway. There's still some of the stuff left over from... I was giving examples of some stuff last time. So last time we finished Cozy.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
So I think
I
she's...
just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
She's basically done.
I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Clomp my hoof up your ass.
I do want to have her bring her arm down a bit more like that.
Your ass. Your ass. Up your ass. Up your ass. Ass.
The left ball, there should be left. There we go. Left hand is turned, so I have to be careful with this one.
Ass. Your ass. Your ass.
No, I don't like it with the bounce.
Your ass. Your ass. Your ass. Your ass.
What's the tragic story for today? Well, Michael's not here, so there's no sad stories from Kentucky today. Michael is in Kentucky for visiting family on Christmas. So he's got a good reason. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. I get to seeing where.
Oh, I just clipping clomped my hoof up your ass. I
think the camera needs a little bit of motion in here. I probably should have done that before putting this in. Actually, I might be able to make it work still. We'll do field of view. Not field of view. Transform. We'll do both. I'm a little hesitant to do both. Why does that not move anything? There it goes.
Clomp my hoof. I just clipped.
I think that should be good.
I just.
Hello, Clumsy. Happy holidays. Yeah. Do some special effects so get Michael do that. Oh, how was everybody's holidays? If you had a holidays, if you celebrate holidays.
Let me clomp my hoof up your ass. Your ass. Just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass.
Okay, still a bit too much. Actually, I can just go out. Make that easier.
I just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass. I just clipping clomp my.
Still too much. Again.
I just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass. I just clipping clomp my hoof up.
Okay, I think that can work. I just gotta smooth that out again. You spent the holidays by yourself. That's sad. You get to do anything fun at least, or?
I just clipping. I just clipping clomp. I just clipping clomp. I just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same here now. Kinda. Actually, no, I can't copy paste. Damn. Too quick. Yeah, it is. Oh, I can't really fix that now, though. Kind of.
Up your ass! Up your ass!
Oops. Being SFM picks. That's fun, at least.
Hoof up your ass! Clipping clomp my hoof up your ass! I just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass! Your ass! I just clipping clomp my.
Yeah, I get to hang out with family for good portion of the day, but then the last half I kind of spent as me, but sometimes it's nice.
Oh, I just clipping clomp my hoof up your ass. My hoof up your ass.
Yeah, what's this animation? It's I needed to. I wanted to make something that wasn't going to take, you know, forever like most of the things I make. So the idea is that this is just a nice short one. Just for fun.
Your ass. Your ass. Your ass.
I kind of like this, but I don't like how much it falls out. Or, because I can do, I just need to do a teeny zoom. I think I'm going to have to drag it to actually get it to do what I want.
Your ass. Your ass.
Maybe a little bit more. When I first hit it with it, it goes. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Okay, that works. Okay. All right. It's I can't use drop because if I use drop, which will undo stuff, it doesn't. With fall offs, it doesn't undo the fall off correctly. It usually makes little hiccups and stuff. Actually, show you. See, you have a big motion like this. If you hit drop, it will undo that motion. But even with flat fall offs, you can see that it's not actually undoing it. It's got motion that is now stuck behind. So I usually don't use drop anything past about 50%, because at that point is when it starts to see that noticeable on the collapsing of its original function. So, but it works perfect if you have like this motion without any fall offs and you just go drop. Then it works perfect. I was the same way. Like yesterday, I didn't do anything. Like I was in all day, and I got, because I'm off until I'm off most of this week, and I didn't really know what to do, and I was kind of bored. But I ended up sticking at home anyway, and didn't feel like cooking, didn't feel like doing anything. Today, I forced myself to go out, and I picked up some egg rolls and some stuff, and I made Chinese food tonight. So getting up and going out helps keep my brain from being in a home-stuck funk. Home-stuck funk.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my...
So when she goes back like this, and I think I need to have the camera go with her a little bit, because she feels very off the camera area, so I need to have that follow her a little bit. See, now the problem is I'm inside that thing. Now, anytime I change the UI, I gotta make sure I move it back. Anytime I change this one or this one, it adjusts it poorly. Okay, so this is gonna be a camera. We're just gonna follow her up a little bit.
I just clippy clomped my... I just clippy clomped my... Up your... Clomp my hoof. Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your... Just clippy... I just clippy clomp... Oh, I just clippy clomped my...
Okay. Doing cardio is good. I'm actually getting a treadmill hopefully in the next couple weeks. My parents had one, and aren't using it, so I'm buying it off them. When I was at my previous apartment, I did a lot of cardio walking and stuff, but the machines are always taken, so I think having my own would help me keep on track, considering that I don't have to worry about being taken and not having an option for doing something. I think I just need to move it up a little bit, not so much as I had. Or can I just... Yeah, I think that that worked. Oh, no. I need to spread this out a little bit more. Did I do something to the camera and then make it so that it's consistently moving in that direction? I just clippy clumped my hoof up your ass. Oh, I just clippy clumped my hoof up your ass. My hoof up your ass. Alright, that should be fine. His back has a white light across the back. Is there a light that's causing that? It looks like something I would have is like a... Yeah, it's not spike light. It'd probably be this one. Nope. What is giving you? The maps are giving it a light. And so I'm guessing that location means nothing. Yeah, it's general light coming from all directions. Check this. Yeah, I want to get him to do more cardio stuff. It's a good thing. It made me feel better when I was doing it, but I haven't done it for months now. Oh, okay, that's good. Because that's actually a nice thing about short things is you can see process from beginning to end. A lot of these other ones, I'm doing the same thing for a couple... Oops. No, I ruined it. I'm doing the same thing for a couple months, and that makes it a little harder to see all the details. There, sure. Is it? Oh, it does stretch that. No, this UI needs to be locked in place more, or more better. Okay, so that's what I was going to do. I'm going to... Where do you have materials? Whatever. Okay, that fixed it. So that light that's reflecting on the back, because of how it was rotating and showing up, that it was always the same from all angles. Now, it doesn't really feel that as much of a map lighting as it is a Phong lighting. And if it's a Phong lighting, then I can change its color. No, it doesn't look like it is. You can see it a little bit when I do this. Actually, let me see if I can go over. Yeah, so you can see when I changed red. It's probably not the best color to pick for that. You can see now this is where the Phong lighting is coming in. So it's just Phong is trying to artificially create a three-dimensional feel to things by creating light on sources that are around it, and you can change how it tints. And so actually, that green kind of, at least in the red parts of them, kind of makes interesting feel. Oh yeah, yeah. I try to talk through what I'm doing, and if there's something I do and you're like, "What the hell did he just do?" Let me know. Ask a question. I try to explain anything that's not obvious in what I'm doing. I try to explain what I'm doing, so that it's not confusing. But it doesn't mean I'm always spot on it. So here I'm thinking, well, if the map is slightly orange, well, why don't I just set the font to be orange? But I think it's gonna be too subtle to even notice a difference. Like there, that's more yellow, so I'm probably gonna put more red into it. So like that would be, well, it'd probably be more like a, let's even put it less than that. Yeah, like that. That would probably be the best color, but maybe not so bright. Okay, is that better than just 111? I feel it actually kind of adds something to it. Yeah. I'll stick with it. Why not? Problem is that is only body. I don't need to worry about teeth or tongue or eyeball. But like, say, his beard. His beard will have its own. I've never really played too much with doing font tint on things, but I have meant to. So since it didn't work for the thing I wanted to do it for, it's a good opportunity to play with it. And it's going to be very, very subtle, but I feel like a lot of the most important things to get right in a video are the small things that aren't really noticed. When I watch an animation or hold on, let's back up on that one. See if that might help. You know what? I really feel like I don't even need to do this one because this is metal. So there is. It's not really coloring Turic. It kind of is. And actually, you know what? I think I will color these. Here. Okay. So metal has some interesting properties that are actually good to know. Actually, you know what? I have a good example. So when Erdic Core was finishing this up, he had sent it to me to do some testing with, and before releasing it, we played around with the lighting on the metal that's on her here, because it was reflecting white and it was very basic. It felt opaque and flat and plastic. So we did some back and forth, and I played around with some of the settings to get it to what it is now. So now it actually feels not really metallic, but at least it feels metal. All of these. And he was just playing with a couple of the settings within the textures to make it get like that. And it's not hard, but it takes time to figure out what everything does. So if you want to make something that looks metal, I'm going to go and open this. So to modify how the engine interprets something, you want to utilize the VMT file. The VMT is the valve material textures. Oh, valve texture. Oh, that's okay. Valve texture file is that one. VMT, it's not giving me a definition for on here, but it is a valve material texture. It's something like that. I don't want horn. Go away. Metal. Okay. So there's a couple, or the main ones you want to worry about in terms of making anything look metal is you want to look at everything that is Fong. Fong is the same thing that I colored before to make it look like light was a different color. But you can also change the way that that light reflects on the surfaces of objects. And the main ones you're going to want to worry about are more likely these three. So exponent, boost, and Fresnel ranges. Tint is nice if you want to change the coloration of something. So you can make it like I was doing there, where you can change it from one color to another. In this case, you can see, since this is RGB, so this is red, green, blue, that I'm 1.5 on red and blue, and then it's 0.9 in the green, meaning that this is focusing more on the blue or purple range. So if you want to make it super purple or super red or something, you make one of these 0. Anything that you move from 0 on that other number is going to make it closer to white. So if you had on here 111, that is white because it's saying equal amounts of all colors. If I do 101, that means it's red and blue mixed, so I'd have deep purple, but I'd have no green. Well, the more green I keep adding to that, we'll keep getting it closer to white, so you're just washing out the color a little bit. So in this case, I'm saying I want a lot of red and blue, not just a normal amount of blue. I want to have the light enhanced by 50% from when it's hitting it. So I want to have a brighter bright. If you think about it, when like metal is being reflected on, it sometimes is much, much brighter, so I wanted it to have that brightness. And then I just pulled back the green somewhat, so it wasn't pure purple, but it gave a sheen of purple. Hello, Tricera. So that's why on here, it still feels purple-ish. It's not white. It just has that little hint of purple. So that's what made it look like that. And that's actually probably my favorite part, is just the tint. But both the black that's on her background here and these metal parts both utilize Fong, but they're utilizing it differently, to where this one has these sharp edges, but then this black undercoat makes it look more like a leather or some kind of a more matte surface. So it's not that sharp edge lighting that you'd get from a metallic. It's not distributing the light across its surface. It's coming from you at you from just those reflecting points. So to do that is where you play with these three values. The first two are kind of connected in terms of how you want. It's going to be like how spread and how bright or some of those areas are. Your Fresnel ranges are going to be about, it's setting like a minimum, maximum, and then where you want the mid-range to be. So usually for a metal, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are from what I can tell. I think I haven't really played around with it enough to know for sure. But really it's about, if you want to make something look metal, move this middle number further to the right. And if you want to have it look more matte, move the middle number further to the left. So if I want to make it look matte, put a 1. If I want to metal, a 7. So if I made this a 7, probably not going to change it too much. I'm playing with metal, yeah. I'm just going to do a single reload. Probably not going to change it too much because this is a pretty subtle effect. So I just changed it to the other. So you can see now it's not near as bright. But it's subtle, but it does feel better being towards the right side when you're doing metal. It makes that brighter on the bright sides. I just made it, I feel good on having a 5 for this. That's why I have it being a 5. So these boosts and the exponent kind of work in reverse. I believe you want to have one go up and the other go down, but I can't remember the exacts. So, yeah, I mean, I don't. Being an American, I see it as Tricera, because that's how I would say a C. But yeah, to me, because Sarah just sounds like how it would flow out. That's my perception of it, though. But I have people keep calling me Demon when I prefer Damon. But I don't care. I had a Halo game where some guy just kept calling me Argentina because he couldn't pronounce it, and I just let it go. So in this values, we're just going to play around with these to kind of show what they do. So for boost, let's just make it 10 times as strong. Makes it nice and easy to see. Oh, I didn't want to do everything. Alright, so we can now see that it is super, super bright. So that boost, by increasing it, is going to make some of the... It is going to bump those that brightness of those colors up. But maybe that's what you're looking for. I mean, because you can see that this is nice, really shiny metal that it makes it. But this is almost too shiny. Like, it kind of goes back into the plastic range for a lot of that, and that's not what I'm looking for. So we're going to put that back down to 0.5. So it's that more subtle approach. But then let's try taking this. I mean, this one we're going to go from 40 to 4. So I'm going to decrease it by 10. God, I did the full reset again. So this is where you're seeing that matte come in again. Now it still feels metallic, but and it's mainly because of that boost. So if I dropped this boost down, I think most of them sit at 0.1 for pony models. You're going to get that very, very matte feel. But what we want is we want the brights to be super bright, and we want the lighting to be pulled towards an edge. So I guess that's the way you can see these. So your boost is going to increase that brightness, and then this exponent is going to be about how far do you want it to spread. So let's put that down to like 0.5 and see what that does. Ooh. It's not built to support that. It's kind of cool, actually, though. It's... You know what? I want to see something. Is the support going to 0? No, it does not. Let's go to 0.1. That's what I thought. Now, the cool thing with that is it kind of lets you do cell shading to a degree. There is a way to do pure cartoony cell shading in SFM, but it requires very specific map conditions and very specific texture configurations and light configurations. Basically, you have to build the whole map to work with it, and even work from certain angles, but it can work. Just not, to me, not worth it. Well, this is not gonna, to me, work because you can see it's following some of the vertices. So like here, it's just kind of popping in for the square. And I wouldn't want that. But it's about just finding the balance of what numbers work. So, so we go back to 0.5 here. This is where that it's going to be doing that. And this is also because I'm spreading a very bright light from one side. If I take her and spin her, it's going to, if I had any other lights in this area, it's going to brighten up her armor in those areas where you want it to be about like taking in the brightest light sources. I don't think this is going to give that. Plus, like this doesn't feel metallic to me. It feels like maybe chrome, but chrome isn't going to light up this area, and it is. Well, part of that is, I think, because... Oh, no, I do have shadows on. And it's just... It's not... I think a lot of this is because of the boost, though. But anyways, if I put this back up to where I had it, though, this is where it's now coming in really hard on those edges. So I basically am condensing it down. And I can condense this down even more. I think I had one model that for metal I did that. And you can get it much, much stronger again on some of these, on those edges. So really, if you're looking to make anything metal, it's about just figuring out where on that scale with these two numbers and you want to do, and then just push this usually middle number forward. But I can make this reflect anything. So say I wanted to have it make maybe like a chameleon look. So I wanted purple armor, maybe with like a blue sheen. So I can decrease the red there. actually, that I need to make it stronger in the blue area. Let's try that. The blue, it is definitely blue, but I think that it just doesn't really stand out. So we'll try putting it in the green. Yeah, so there you get a reflection of a different color type. But you could build it specific for that, like the map that you're doing. You could change the color to something else, but it's going to change all the lighting that hits it to that color. So maybe it won't always work, but it's give it a shot. So in this case, though, I want to go back to my what values that we had there. There. So that's how we kind of got those values. There's also what Tyrek has here. So his little arm pieces here, I believe, are not just using fog. They are also using a environment map. So I'm gonna get rid of Tempest here. And if we were to look at Tyrek, his metal. Oh, he's using a warp texture. That's what it is. I thought he was using an environment map. Environment maps try to take a... It's like a artificial box. It's like a skybox where a skybox, and actually this map has one. Oh, get back to Tyrek. So in the background here, there's a skybox. No matter where I move, the skybox stays in place. It's not a real thing. It's just it's projecting these textures artificially into the background. But you can take one of these same exact skyboxes and you can add it to an armor where it will reflect an inverse of it around the surfaces. So try to give a feeling that it's reflecting what's in your background. A lot of glass in video games, especially in like the 2000s, utilize those a lot, where it wouldn't give you a real reflection, it was giving you a reflection of a skybox. And a lot of times if they built those skyboxes for like specific areas, so they would say like this is the skybox for this corner, you could build them to be basically a really good reflection of the area that you're in. It just depends on how many you want to make. The more you have, the more you've loaded, the more memory you're eating in a game. So I thought that's what this was doing, but it's actually not. It's using like the light warp textures and stuff, but my knowledge of how that stuff works is minimal. So I'm not going to explain that stuff because I don't know. But in this case, this one's got, compared to this metal, it has a much higher boost and lower exponent. So it's working less towards the metallic, and that's only the Fong that's not doing that. A lot of that that look is coming from that light warp stuff. But I'm not always a fan of how this stuff looks because you don't have much control over it. It's kind of messy. It works for this though, because he's a chrome boy. But now that I changed his textures to take in the yellow like that, I probably should have a little bit of cheer to it too. First I need to see if it makes sense. I think most of these models too have a default to have some coloration. I might keep her body the same because she's already like a tan. I think it might be too much on top of each other, but her little Shirley Temple hair I can do that with though. Why is there 3 hairs? I'm kind of stuck for a sec. Oh, Entertail. Okay, so her horn I don't need to worry about, and her wings I don't need to worry about then. So she's good. Oh, thought I grabbed something. What about... Yeah, he feels like he doesn't stand out at all. Or he feels too well lit. I think he can definitely find some benefit. Let me make sure this is actually working though. Yeah, it is. Very, very light though. Oh, I was copying from somebody that would have or had the lower amounts. So this might work a little better. Okay, first I need to make sure I'm getting the colors right. Make him a shiny boy. I feel like this is too red. Since he's a... Oh no, Tirika's blue bodied too. I think that might be the color I'm looking for. It's very subtle, but adds up. I think it'll really be noticeable on the horns. Or more noticeable anyway. Yeah, it is, but I think that I want to pull it back a little bit. Then his harness too. The bell is a separate model, so we're not going to deal with that. Tail and stuff, then we'll just add that. I kind of want to go and do the, like we did with Chrysalis in the one video previously, where we just kept, throughout the video, we just jammed or grabbed her neck and turned it like 90 degrees sideways, and every time she did that, we'd make a crack sound. It was very satisfying, but made me get a kink in my neck just thinking about it. Okay, it's subtle. The horns really did help, though. And then I want to get these, the icky stickies. One of these is invisible. That's that one. Ooh. A bit too much. typing base texture out of habit. Okay. It's a little bit yellower. I feel that he is too balanced lit throughout for this whole thing, but at the same time, it kind of works. I think it means I need to just add an extra light to her so that she's not so dark from this side.
Clippy clomp my hoof up your ass.
Which one are you? Oh. You're all of them. No, it can't be. I think they're just some of them. These three. Yep. I just want to move this a little bit because the ones hitting her head
I just clippy clomp my hoof up your ass.
At the end here, and a lot of these other ones are moving. Like, so I don't care about this hitting her face. She's moving and it's going to be blurred anyway. But anytime she freezes in here, there's no water. There's a little bit right there, but not really noticeable. And then that might be a little bit too much too. Is water even that noticeable? I feel like when it's actually blurred in, it might not matter. And actually, when it is blurred, in these shots, you don't even notice it anyway. I don't want to modify those textures. I'll deal with that later. I'll look at the renders and see how those are. It also might be because the radar quality, or render quality. The higher render quality might look better. Oh, sorry, Clumsy, I'm going to go back to your question. Is it better just to font from her materials file or directly from SFM? Only reason I was doing it from the file was when I was doing Tempest, it was for the intent to make it the permanent version of it. So then, yes, I'm going to modify the actual file. Otherwise, and if you're ever trying to make somebody look better in a scene, never touch the file. Otherwise, you're modifying it in any other situation. Even if it's going to be for every shot that is going on in the file you're in, any change you make is going to modify her in any other save file you have too, or him or her, whatever the model is you're playing with. So anytime possible, definitely try to use overrides unless it's going to be a permanent change to the model. So you're updating a texture to just be a higher quality version of the texture and you want to have that for all the other ones being used, sure. But if it's that's why for here I'm doing the tint changes within the models themselves, because I don't want to have a permanent orange tint on Cozy for all other files. So it's being safer that way. And there was a time where SFM did not have overrides, material overs like that. You had to go in and modify the actual files, and then it just created a headache.
just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
You had it all this time? I did.
Well, I don't even have his lip syncing done. Tempest is pretty cool. Oh, I wonder if I still have some of the original files that I did for her for testing. Usually I put my stuff on Dropbox, and that's why I pass the files for saying, hey, does this look good? Does this look good? I don't know what else is in here, so I gotta put it off to the side here. I'm not seeing it. So maybe I didn't put it on Dropbox. I got a lot of crap in here. Oh god, it's blot again. This is one that this is where I actually learned how to do that lighting things when I went and did this model's lighting for metallic. I just happened to see that, so. There's a lot of puppies. Here, let me give my response there. And why are you bombing the puppy? It's you're trying to murder the corgi. better late than never, Cinnamon. Oh yeah, I forgot about that reflection thing. Is going to be an issue too. I'm not caring about that right now though.
You had it all this time? Well, you had it all. You had it all this time? Why I did.
So you can do some more of the lip syncing for him. Can't do too much animating until his lips are done. Yeah, the other part of this done for this is right here.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Ass, 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 your ass, up your ass, up your ass, up your ass.
Oh, this is that. Yeah, I did most of this, but. Okay, I think that the mouth open here is being done by the jaw, isn't it? Yep.
You had it all this. You had it all this. Had it all.
Maybe can't really close it anymore there, so we'll try doing the jaw again.
all this, all this, I had it all this, all this, I had it all this, all this time. You had it all this time, all this.
I don't think I can get the look I want here. Yeah, it is SFM. It is free. Yeah, this is animation. You can't do any sculpting with it. It's purely animation. Being it doesn't do any 3D molding or sculpting itself does mean, though, that anytime you want to have any modification to the models done, you have to do it in a separate program, export it to this engine, and make it work. But it has other pros to it, too. Blender's nice because you can make the changes and then use it right in the engine itself, but for animation, Blender can be a little more complex, and you don't have a lot of the same assets that SFM has for free. Yeah, that's a little better. Keep poking at little changes and eventually it'll look fine. Okay. Okay. So this is U and then Y. They both end the same, so I'm just gonna go and steal it. So it's easier to skip the opening part. So why? Well, and this what's after that? Why didn't? Okay, so I don't have to worry about that. Sometimes if you have one word go into another, you go from it changes the way that the last one ends in terms of your mouse position. So you just know what comes afterwards. Okay, that's I need to know some things. It don't show me that total that everyone's seen. Okay. I want to know how to add frames to my animation and how do I change the eyes if the model's been stuck with these little problems. Okay, so to get clarification, add frames to my animation. What the frame can be used a couple different ways. So what do you mean by a frame? Like to change the frame rate or to extend how long your shots are, or frames as in like keyframes of a model's motion. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. And then for changing the eyes of the model, that is actually pretty easy. So should I assume that you're doing pony models? Or if you're not doing pony models, then it's probably going to be very similar. It's just about doing overrides. Keyframes. I think I might know what you're talking about. We'll go do the eye part first because I was already going to start working towards that. So, so let's say, for instance, and I've done this many times actually. You want to animate models. They're very similar. Actually, if they're anime, they might be the same then. They're probably not going to use eye refraction, which is going to be a little bit different. But so let's say that you're looking to modify. You already have a model with an eye texture, and you're just wanting to change it to one that's, like, I'm guessing, a different color or something. It's easier if it's a different color. If you're trying to use a completely different eye texture, it's similar method. But I'm just going to assume you're just going to change the color. So the first thing you want to do is actually locate where the eye textures are. So on any of the models that you have loaded in SFM, the easiest way to me to figure out where those eye textures are is if you right-click a model and you go to Add Override Materials. I already have, so that's why I'm saying Remove now. When you click that, then it'll let you modify some of the textures properties within SFM, but it also tells you where they are. So once you have them added, you go to Show an Element Viewer and then Model. This stream is recorded, so you can always, if you miss something, you can catch up on it later. Go to Show an Element Viewer and then Model. And then there's going to be this group called Materials that pops up here. And there's going to be all the different textures that come with the model. The eye texture should be separate from all the other textures. If it's not, then it's a lot more complicated. But I don't think there's even a way to... If the eyes can move, they're different texture. So somewhere in there is probably going to be an eyeball or eye or pupil or something. These ones are eyeball. Now, an eyeball actually has, at least in terms of these models, two different textures that are associated. So the yellow of his eye here is considered to be like the eyeball itself. That's its base texture. And then the pupil right here, which the software will call an iris sometimes, is considered a separate bit. So for these, you have flat generic color in the background of the eye, and then you have a floating one on top of it, and that floating one is what will follow and track on top of that texture, like kind of moving around it. If a model has an eye that, like the Rathlos model that I work with sometimes, it's just a texture applied to an orb, and the orb itself has to spin, well then that's going to be a little different. But I'm guessing for an anime it's going to be based on a similar concept. So to figure out where this texture is, I'm going to go and hit a little plus here. And I'm already doing an override on his eye because I already did exactly this. And under MTL name, this is going to be where the actual location where his eye texture is. So I'm just going to copy that. And now you just have to figure out where in the actual files that model is. Well, that's also easy. Right-click your model, go to Show Game Model in Explorer. It's just going to open up a folder that is right where the model is. But this is the model, not the texture's location. But you can see up here where its location is. So we're in the user mod folder. If you downloaded it from the workshop, it's probably going to be in the workshop folder. And really, unless you started doing your own folder structures, which you would know if you did that, everything's going to be in user mod or workshop. So in this case, since mine's in user mod, I'm going to go... if you're wanting to modify textures, it is a little confusing. I'm just doing shortcuts to go and find your file. Otherwise, it's about where is it. That can take a little bit of time. This just makes it easier. You're copying the actual folder's location or the file's location, and then you're figuring out where it is. Like I said, if you downloaded it off like DeviantArt or SFM Labs and you manually put it into the folder yourself, it's going to be in your user mod. If it's something you got off the workshop, which probably is, that would be under your workshop folder. But mine is under user mod. So this file's location is always going to be based on the parent location of materials. So it's saying it's in models, but it's not in the actual models folder. It's in my user mod materials folder. Everything that's listed here is based out of the materials folder. And this material folder is in every game. So if I go back to game into workshop, there will also be a materials folder. If I go to episode 2, there's a materials folder. If I go to Dino D-Day, there's a materials folder. It's just the way that Source has their stuff set up. There should always be a materials folder. So I go to my user mod materials, and now I'm just going to go and paste that in my URL. But I don't want to go to the actual file. I just want to go to the folder. So I'm just going to remove that file name. Bam. And now where that texture is located. So normally your eye textures are going to be named the same as whatever this is. So it would be eyeball_R. But if you look in here, there is no eyeball underscore. Well, there is here for the VMT, but the actual texture file, which is the VTF, which stands for valve texture file. So if I open up eyeball, this is just that yellow background. You're not going to want to touch that. You're going to want to actually touch the actual iris, which is down here. They're called something different. And that is because if you look in the eyeball file, it says its base texture is that eyeball file, which is saying this yellow background. But it's saying that the actual iris, or the actual like round circle part that moves on an eye, is under pupil. This structure should always be the same if it says eyes up here. If it says eye refract, the actual editing and GIMP, Photoshop, any of those, you have to convert it from a VTF to some editable format, and I use VTF edit for doing that. You see the file name right here. VTF edit is I don't think it's been updated for a long time, 2008, but it works perfectly fine. So SFM's still running on the 2004 engine that's just been updated since then. So it works really, really good. You can get it for free. If you just Google VTF edit, and you'll find it for sure. So what I want to actually update then is that iris. So you can see here that it's just a pupil file. So if I go back to my folder, you can see pupil file. So if I open up that one, now this is the actual file that we're wanting to look at. This is the eye. Sometimes there'll be a difference between a left and a right. A lot of the pony models will have a left and a right pupil. Some models like this one is only a single one. Just depends on the model. If they're both the same, then they're only going to point to one. I have already exported this, but if you're in VTF edit and you want to make this into an editable format, it's pretty easy. You just go File, Export, and then save it. And usually I just keep it as a target file. So in this case, this is where the file would be. I have already exported it, so I'm not going to touch it. But you just export it to the same folder it came in, and then you got both next to each other. So let's say that I wanted to modify this to be, instead of red, I want to make it blue. I'll open up Photoshop, and I'm not thinking about it. I just updated to 2020 Photoshop, so this might take a minute. But this is going to show you can modify this texture to something else, but I will get to a point where if you already have a texture that is, say there's another anime model and you just want to grab that one's eyes and put it on this one, I'll cover that too. I hope they didn't change the UI so much that I don't recognize it anymore. I was really bored the other day, so I went through and did a full update for all programs, and I realized, ooh, they have 2020 Photoshop, where they added more powerful features that I don't use. Oh, there will be sometimes, like this one says pupil small. If I open up this one, it's just a smaller version of the same one. Some of the models have it set up where you can change the size of the pupil depending on if they're scared or something, and they'll have that built in. All right, this looks different. Just go away. I don't want iPad and cloud documents. I don't care. Yep, that's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my pupil. And so now I want to make this. Let's make it green. Make it a super bright green too. There. And it's not going to be the greatest in some of those edges. Well, actually, let's go into detail. We're going to go hue because this will actually make it all change. Super bright green. Oh yeah, look at that. Now, you might think like, oh, I'm going to draw outside of these boundaries. A lot of these have a mask set up. So if we're going to under channels here, you can see that it actually has a mask where it's saying, even if you draw outside of those areas, it's still going to be locked to this area. And that's actually kind of required because it needs to know that this is what is a pupil, and so that all the rest goes and fades into this other texture in the background. So if you're trying to go outside and draw something really, really different, you'll need to play around with that, but that's a whole different topic. But in this case, I just want to make it green. So I'm going to go just save as. No, don't show me again. Stop helping me. Save on computer. Okay. I don't want to save over the original export, so I'm going to just call it pupil green. Now, we're going to go back to VTF Edit, and we want to bring this in to VTF Edit. So we're going to go File, Import, instead of Export. We're going to go find that one that we had. And I'm just going to copy the file location over here. Pupil green. All these values, just leave them as they are. Now we have our green eye. The only thing I recommend is you click No Bitmap and No Level of Detail. The reason for that is level of detail will make it so that as you get further away from the model, it will decrease the quality of a texture to help save on processing. In doing so, you get eyes that are slightly hazy. So this will shut that off so that no matter the distance, you'll get a crisp eye, which is actually kind of important. Minor, but important. So now that I have the green one, I don't want to export it. I want to actually save as, because now I'm saving it as a VTF. We're in the Grover folder. I'm going to save this as pupil green. All right, so it is saved. So now I have in my folder this new texture to use. So there's two ways that you can apply this to the model. And say that you're using a different eye for a different model. This is the point where you can just skip all those other steps and just grab this one, whatever your new one is. So you can either do a permanent change to the model, or you can do a temporary change to the model. If you're doing a permanent change, you would go to that eyeball file within here and open that. Let me finish that. So I can change face expressions. You'd be changing. You can change the eyes. If you're talking about facial expressions, like to be sad or happy, or the actual physical nature of the manipulations of the flexes of the face, so that say like these, if you're looking to do that, that's a whole different topic, and you want to talk about complicated, you're going to go down that road real quick. I've done that I've added that in two models before, but I don't really know what I'm doing with it. I just kind of got lucky. This is going to be just manipulating the actual textures in the eyes to replace the eyes themselves. Yeah, if you're looking to do this, then that is like you're looking at probably like 2 hours of showing, because you'd have to learn if you download it off the workshop, you'd first have to figure out how to export it from SFM to an editable format. That usually leads it to be slightly broken, so you have to fix some of those bits. Then you have to open it up in Blender, and then set up the flexes, manipulate them from an A to B location, export it back into SFM, and recompile it. It's a process. I did it for the like these ones that I've done with Rathalos. all the facial stuff that he does for all his facial flexes for his eyes moving and all that, I added those myself. But it took me like 3 or 4 days of testing and figuring things out, and I understand the engine pretty good. So yeah, if you're looking to do that, it's going to be a lot of research and a lot of learning. It's not going to be something you're going to do overnight. So if you're talking about like watching tutorials and taking the time to learn those, that's what it's going to end up being. You could say that to get to that point, that's like step 7, but you have to figure out how to do steps 1 through 6 first, and those are not complicated steps, but they take a decent understanding of the source engine and Blender and all that. I had no idea how to do the flexes until I started doing it, but it took me hours of watching tutorials online and watching how they did it, and it didn't exactly apply to the things I was doing. So then how can I make it so it was? And the model that I exported had all the bones named wrong, so I had to rename all the bones and redo the rig completely just to make it work so that I could add the flexes. So there are a lot of models out there that are missing flexes, and that's kind of why I added the ones to that. So if you're looking to have the eyes closed or like open or be sad or whatever, you're going to have some difficulties. It's going to take time. And I'm thinking, and that might be what you're talking about with adding frames to animations too. Then if you're looking about adding that, because the only other thing I can think of in terms of adding frames to animation is you're thinking if you're keyframing and you're adding new keyframes to the animation, but that's not about changing, or it's still within utilizing the tools and the flexes and the bones that are currently existing in the model to try to stuff. No, I don't know how to use it either. When I open it up, that software completely confuses the hell out of me. I know how to do very specific things in Blender because I went and looked up how to do those. But it's a bad habit to get into too, because then I'm just learning specific ways to use tools when doing a general covering of everything helps out more, I think. Yeah, Blender knows a lot more about Blender. But no, it just takes time. Don't think that you're going to be able to jump into something and just figure out how to do one specific thing without learning some of the basics beforehand. I was able to figure out a lot of that because I've already done before of exporting models from one medium to another or to within source, so I knew how to do all the exporting and what the models look like and everything. So I had a good base to go from. So I could skip steps 1 through 4, and I just had to figure out 5 and 6. But I'm not going to get into how to do some of those, like the adding of facial flexes and stuff, because I would be guessing my way through it, and that I wouldn't even have time for today to even cover half of it. So I can't help you on that. Yeah, but you're talking about learning it. If you're talking about learning Blender in general, yeah, it's going to take you a long time. But if you're talking about the adding of flexes and stuff, most people don't care about how it's done. They just care about paying somebody to do it for them. No, I'm not going to make a tutorial myself just because I don't know enough on how. If I make tutorials on how to do this and explain how to do stuff in SFM because I have a very thorough understanding of the entire software. I don't have a good enough understanding of Blender to cover any tutorial on how to do stuff in Blender. I'd basically be like, click this doohickey over here, and it does stuff. I have no idea what it does, but it's the thing you have to click. And that doesn't help anybody. So it's, and any tutorial I would make on it would be no different than other people doing it. That's how I learned, was finding those tutorials online. So I wish you luck, but I'm not going to be able to help you on it. My expertise is in SFM and its related softwares, and Blender is outside that realm. So, sorry. To finish the eye thing, just in case there was anybody still wanted to know that, if you do a permanent change, I would just change this file. Yep, shape keys. Actually, that was about an hour of my time is just trying to figure out what the hell it was called there. And then when I figured out it was shape keys. No, so I'm going to change this to green. And I'm going to go, I have a little script up here, but otherwise you can type it into the console as well. But, oh, mine is not going to show the change because I already have it overridden. Yeah, so if I remove his, there we go. There. If I remove the overrides, then it pops up. The problem with doing it the way that this way is that if you change it in this file, every save file that ever has Grogor in it that you use will have a green eye. Maybe that's what you want it to do. Maybe you are upgrading the eye to a better version. Then yeah, that makes sense. But I don't like doing that because I don't often modify a model permanently. The better way to do it is the way that I did it in here. So in that override where we got that stuff earlier, you can add an override. So if you right click, add attribute and string, because you want to point to a new file, you want to put, I was going to say hashtag for some reason, money sign iris. Normally it's going to be, it's weird. Oh, R key wasn't working. Normally for replacing the texture on anything else, you're going to do money sign base texture. But this already, or its base texture is the whites of its eye, so I want to do iris. I'm not going to actually do it because I already have an iris override. And that's why I couldn't change it, because it ignored whatever the base value was and is now forced to use the one that I made before, which was a smaller version of the pupil. How can you change a VTF for a VMT? Oh, that's exactly what this is actually. Under here. So this is a VMT file. The VMT is the texture file that just gives the properties in regards to the texture. So the texture is just purely the colors and on the pixels of the file. All the properties on how the engine is to interpret it are the VMT, and that includes combining all together a bunch of other VTFs if needed. So this right here is pointing to the eyeball VTF. If I change this file to something else, it will. So if I change eyeball to body, it is now utilizing his body texture as its eye texture. So somewhere in there is that white that comes across there. And that will change it from then on. So if it is a permanent change that you want to do, then that's fine and you're good. Okay, it is eyeball. Get back to normal. Be fixed. If there is like the eyes property that's at the top here that it is selected as is used so that iris, it doesn't work on any other texture. It only works if the eyes texture is, or the type is set at the top here. So if you set it as something else, it won't work like an eye. There is an eye refraction, which then opens up even more options for having like a surface of an eye that maybe feels slightly reflective. I don't like that with some of the models because it's trying to make a glossy eye surface that is like glass, which works for a small eye on a human. But when you have a big like anime eye or the pony eyes, they're so big that they just make it look like they have a big bowling ball in their head that's like made of glass, and I don't like that. So I just keep it as the normal eyes. But if you want to get rid of the eyes or you want to have them glow, because these eyes, well, they also have the addition of like iris property and some of those others. They don't have the ability to glow. You can't use self-illuminate on them, but you can if you change it. So let's say here, so this is commenting. That's what that little symbol is. I'm gonna go It is called Vertex Lit Generic, which is the name of almost any texture file that's out there. Yeah, I'm just kind of going off on tangents because it's stuff that I think might be neat to know, or things that took me a while to figure out on how to utilize. So if I change this from an I type to a vertex lit generic, and that's again just a standard term. If I go to metal here, that's what this is called. If I go to horn, that's what this is called. It's going to treat it like a normal texture, which means iris no longer works. So I can comment that out, who cares? But it will now work on other properties like self-illuminate, which I will turn on. And then we're going to give it a color too. So we'll go self-illum tint. And let's color. Let's give them like big old evil eyes. So we'll go red. There he goes. So he's got big old glowy red eyes. And the cool thing about that is they glow in the dark. Okay, this is maybe a little too bright. Let's dumb his eyes down a little bit. So his eyes are no longer being treated like an eye texture. They're being treated just the exact same as if that eye is his neck or his horns. They're being treated like a normal texture. So I can utilize some of those properties. There is no longer a pupil. It is gone. And if I go into this one, is there an actual difference between these? Nope. There. This evil Grogar. Mwahaha. It's a little scary. Maybe it's not scary enough. No, that's not any better. There we go. That's kind of scary. Rawr. Evil. Evil. But yeah, I've actually used that before because you can do, if you go to try to hide a texture by alphaing out all of its textures, the eyes can't be hidden with normal alpha. This is another way to hide it, because now the alpha property actually does work. Which will get really weird. Ah. Oh, he got broken because I did that. That's fine. No, did I put that on the... Oh, no, that's fine. So through the pony models, because they're actually... they really cave in. They're really weird when you do that. We're going to fix these though. I was watching anime just before here. I was finishing up or catching up on My Hero. There he goes. He's fixed now. He's back to normal. He wants a cookie. Hi, hungry. He does look a little hungry. Oh yeah, I do upload. It's actually in the. He has his link too, but if you go and he has his link. No, that's me. To the bottom of the stream info. It is linked here, I think. Yeah, missed a stream. Most are recorded and viewable here. So you can go there as well. Oh, yeah, Bird is out there too. That's where I put all the streams. It's normally up. I try to have it up automatically by 8 a.m. the next day, but if I forget to upload it, it can take until like whenever I remember, which can be a week or two sometimes. But all of them as of today, or other than this stream, are up there. And I just checked. There's like 500. It's like there's like 2,000 hours of streams out there. It's kind of sad. Anyways, we can go back to lip syncing penis head. There's no other questions. I have this here it's a live format, so it's different, but normally on YouTube I have a thing where if somebody asks a question in the comments that is answered in the comments, I refuse to answer. Because mainly on YouTube, because I was at Luna's Banishment. I was asked the question, probably 200 to 300 times, of what's the song, and it's been in the description the entire time. And answering everybody's question on that was always like, But me, the way I see it on YouTube is, if you're going to write a comment, you're going past that information. Twitch they hide that info down there. And not everybody puts it in there, but I have a thing of I put all the information in there because it's just, I don't know. It takes a lot of time to answer those. So why? Oh yeah, he doesn't have a stretch, does he? Wide. Did he? No. It looks like he's not. Let's keep that. Alright, now that I have the front and back, I'm going to do the mouth open. Something got changed in that. You had it all this time? The bell. Something got zeroed. So one fun thing with SFM is you can copy something, then undo a bunch of stuff, and then repaste it. So you can, I always feel like it's you're grabbing something, then going back in time and bringing the future to the past, But it comes in handy there because I'm like, oh, I don't have to redo the lip syncing because I can just grab it from before, or grab it from then, go back to where it was broken, and then redo it.
You had it all this time? Why didn't you?
So this one has a bit of a feeling of hitting the front here and going, having a robotic motion. So I want to smooth this out a little bit. And I feel like it should have the pucker continue forward. Okay, so it's why didn't it's just kind of like an open and close. Why didn't okay, so I think I need to back off on the angry a little. And we're going to put that jaw up a little bit because that part did not get copied over. So this, when he says didn't, I'm going to basically make the same face, but I'm going to add in extra angry and extra yelling. So it's slightly different. So it's not just why didn't, it's why didn't. It's having it pull back a little bit. So it feels very different from the syllable before it, but still basically the same. So I'm going to give it a little bit of pucker. Okay, this should have less teeth, but I don't know if there's a way to actually hide the teeth. Actually, this would start going forward. Normally, why or would the word didn't would go backwards, but it's didn't you, and so it'd be didn't, and you'd already start going forward a little bit. So it's didn't you? Why didn't you? Why didn't you? I'm going to keep it as it is for now, and I'm going to see how it goes. Sounds like a smoker. Bony points? Brony points? Or are you talking brownie points? Ooh. brownie, not brony. Ooh, brownies. Actually, that actually is that is a thing. Like, is this? Yeah, it's this one. So, this is something I remember seeing. Brony points is the thing. Yes. Now, this is something that I remember seeing from Boss Baby, and it's a thing that is done, and it's actually a fantastic way to do references. I'm just lazy. Yeah, it's not. YouTube's not going to like me playing two things here. Oh, come on. We were going to copy, close, see if that helps.
Yes, I'm the baby Jesus. No! You see, I'm more middle management for the company.
A company? What company?
Here. Take this. It'll explain everything.
What do you want me to do with that?
I want you to suck it.
You suck it.
No, it's for you to suck.
Ugh, I'm not sucking that.
Suck it.
I don't know where it's been.
So it actually is useful for portraying characters realistically, and so you can do this. You can record it of yourself doing something, but you have to record yourself in doing it in a cartoonish fashion. So it's very dramatic facial expressions, very dramatic hand motions, and they're even adding in other props and stuff too. So, it's definitely a thing to do, and not just for like lip syncing references, but just for general motion for anything. I never did anything with it, because if I was doing like a professional type video, sure, but when I'm doing it for pastime, going and trying to get these perfect shots and recordings as a reference point for all this just seems like extra work that I don't need to do. I'm just doing it for fun. Plus, one thing I like doing with this, at least the way I can do it, is I'm able to change things on the spot. I don't really have, this doesn't have a storyboard. The storyboard was the files itself once I made it, so I can just change on the fly, and I like the chaotic nature of it. Oh, that's what that was. Okay, we're gonna disable the bell sound for now, because otherwise it's gonna keep going in slow motion and being a very loud, fuzz noise. So we're going to grab this part where that where they do a little didn't. Just gonna smooth it. See if I can get a better positioning for that. Come on, this is gonna be less Parker.
Why? Why didn't you
And there's gonna be a lot of motion with him, so I don't even know if I have to really worry about it.
Why didn't you all this time? Why didn't you
So why didn't you? It's gonna be a more dramatic forward motion. So if anything, oh, this actually wouldn't be that way. This would be. So this is gonna be still pucker. A little bit of grin in there. Oh, kinda. Me. Lip up. So I'm gonna have him start this. Yeah, I've had no problems actually running SFM on Windows 10 since I got it. Sure, there was maybe one issue early on, but I don't think it was really an issue. No, I think everything's ran fine. I've been running Windows 10 now for since my major upgrade, so about a year and a month, maybe even more. I can't remember when I did my big upgrade. I think it was last year. Gluing boards to shoes for Toy Story. Yeah, it's the best reference you can get for anything is real life because that's what you're trying to emulate. But you got to still remember that cartoons are still trying to be cartoon, and it's about exaggerating. So you have to make sure that your motions are exaggerated then too. And some of the motions you're not going to be able to do like our cartoon would do. So but it'll get you most of the way there, and then you can fill in the gaps after that. Like, how do you record a reference for floating
I just
pony?
clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
The bell! You had it all this time? Why didn't you Why?
Yeah. Still don't like it, but I think it's good enough.
Why didn't you
I'm not looking forward to animating him getting hit with the bell. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Especially with the goop. I could have him stay in place and just get dizzy. Or, oh, that was it. Oh, I forgot. I thought that was the bell. No, it's the sock. Okay, yeah.
Well, you had it all this time. Why didn't you do?
Yeah, okay. Where is the bell then? There's the bell. Well, the difficulty was not just with laying down, is that his legs are glued down. So he's already showing that his ability to pull them out was not working. So if he was hit, he would either have to have that stuff, his hooves come out of it, or it'd have to stretch with him, therefore limiting his movement and making animating kind of difficult. But I was thinking instead, I swore that the bell had... Okay, so this is the bell. And so I want to have that separate. It's going to be its own thing. Is we have the bell be really big for some stupid reason. And... okay, that's a little too big. Let's scale that back a little bit. And then we just have him, like, good smooshed. That is a very complex question. So, it depends on what the video is doing. Like in this one, I'm taking existing audio, therefore I don't have to do much planning. And the scenes that are already script or storyboarded to a degree. So that's a lot less planning I have to do. The scene builds aren't that complicated, so they didn't take very long. And the animation-wise, is I kind of consider animation is the bell hit by another bell. Yeah. Animation, the complexity of animation, I kind of break into like 3 categories, and it really depends on what is being seen in that shot. So in this, for like a pony floating like that, I'd consider that kind of like a second level difficulty. And again, this is just an arbitrary scale I'm making up. Being that yes, there is a full body animation, but she's not interacting with anything. So I have free ability to have her do whatever she wants within the environment that she's in. That makes it a lot easier. On the reverse, like let's say like the animation is just right here. Well, this I consider like a first level super easy, because I don't even have to worry about anything for her bottom half. All I'm really doing is the head and maybe some of the legs, especially since if she was standing there, there's probably not even going to be any arms at all. So it's going to be really, really easy. If there was a lot of this kind of shots, the lip syncing would be complicated, but after that, it's actually pretty easy. This is what I consider to be more of a kind. I can't just hide the bell because it's a separate thing. What I need to do with him, I'd consider more of like a much more difficult type of animation. Not because And it's only because I'm not using an IK rig. If I was using an IK rig, it'd be a lot easier because he'd be having his legs locked, but there's none that exist for Grogar. Or Grogar. So I have to make sure that any motion I do that interacts with the ground at all, I have to make sure that his hooves don't move at all. So every motion that I do, if I want to have, say, his pelvis move even just the teeniest bit, I have to make sure that his feet don't move with it. So I have to lock everything and I have to move everything with it. If then I had an IK rig, it'd be a lot simpler, but don't have that. So because of that, anytime I have animation that has an object interacting with another object, it makes it a lot more complex. So fight scenes that are really, really complex, not just for the choreography that goes on with it, but because I have to interact that thing with somebody else. So like for this one, it's not too bad because even though he is going to be a little difficult because of the ground interaction, he's not actually moving, which makes that a little easier. The keyframe will be simpler compared to some other things I've done. And then she wasn't that bad because, again, she's just kind of floating there. So if I make something wrong, I can just move her and who cares. So something like this, I think I started this like 2 weeks ago, and I only work on it like it's between 4 to 7 hours a week. So something like this would be like 30 hours, give or take. And there's been a lot of goofing off we've done in the time too. But if you do something that's a lot more complicated, it can take a lot longer. For instance, this one that I made for a questionnaire narrator was... There wasn't really that much going on, but it was all the scene building, the hair animation, and just trying to add all the super amounts of detail are what this one took me probably close to 100 hours of work. So, well, it looks simple. It was just a lot of minor details. Plus, all the main here was done in After Effects and imported in to the animation. So, so it's hard to say how long things take. I've gotten a lot better at being able to do a good guesstimate based on what I think the project will be. But like the other one that we're working on besides this is originally only going to be like 30 seconds long, and now it's almost 2 minutes. So there's scope creep too. But like the main reason that like this one took forever was none of this armor really existed, so I had to grab some other model or armor, retexture it, redo everything, add in bump maps, add in other bits, rescale it. The hair didn't exist in that, so it's this hair put multi-layered over that. That model didn't exist, so it's Sweetie Belle plus other stuff merged together and retextured. Her model didn't exist, so I had to use After Effects to make the hair look right and figure out how that actually works. This is a conglomeration of multiple different models, and to get the scaling for a beefy female required I rescaled the entire bone structure to something else and add another model in for the mechanical legs. So, yeah. It was a lot of excessive complexity just to make it accurate. Why not use Blender? Because 2 reasons. 1, I don't really know Blender, and 3, or I'm skipping right over 2. And SFM is what I've known and has a lot of resources available. I would be going through a lot of work to relearn another program when it's just a hobby. So I've just stuck with what I know. And I like the ability just to throw in any model I want and make it work. It would have taken me longer to do that one in another software than it did me to make it in SFM. Even with that, I don't know how to model. Like I can't do crap for modeling. So you can have more control to build your own armor in there, but I'm not going to know what to do. I'm gonna take other things that exist and then merge them together to make something that does. Anyways, Belle. Put you back there. So the bell here, we're gonna have this be here at first. We only need it right off camera. So we're going to put it right here. Or a little lower. I'm going to turn it up a bit too. Should it be like this, or should it be like this? Kind of like it this way. And I have it turned the way it does because of the inside. I don't want it showing. Yeah, I think I'll keep it like this for now, but we're going to say that this hits if I do that, the bell has to turn more. It doesn't make any sense the way it was. He'll have more to him than that, but right now I'm just trying to figure out if it works. I could put extra little rocks down here and make it look like something actually happened that was a little bit more like that, and I can make water spread out and whatever. But the main thing is I need to know, is this an option that's viable? So that's why I'm doing it this way. Because I was thinking, well, you could put the bell like that, but then you think about center of mass. And if the bell hits and it goes and it lands like, it has to land like this because now it still has forward momentum. So it'd have to keep going a little bit. So it's going to lean. But where is its center of mass? Well, it's going to be probably around here, which means it is in a position where it could stand like that. But it's probably going to have to lean a little bit from that and then come back. I just don't want to make it look like it feels very fakey by just hits and stops. So, can I make something that big hit and actually feel right? So, like here, I probably have the bell. Come back a little bit. wonder if I should have it afterwards tilt even more. No, I'll leave that for later. I'll worry about some of that afterwards. Let's see if I can at least make this interaction look good. Ignoring Crowbar. It depends. If it hit really hard in one spot and it dented in the rock there, it probably would actually create a stop point where it wouldn't want to go any further. So realistically, yeah, it would probably bounce off and hit that thing behind it and keep going. But if I do a shot where I'm going to have the bell come in, hit him, and go off of the screen, what the bell is going to look like is... it's going to look like this for the entire shot. And there's nothing in that that identifies what it is that actually hit him then. So... the easiest way to do it is if it stays there, then it implies that, yes, there's a bell that hit him. So... I love this song. I actually used it for a time lapse way, way back. Okay, so it does look like this rock slab has to come back a little bit. Okay, so now I can see that this rock is moving before I want it to. So we're just gonna bring that in a little bit. Still not right. I need to do it here. It probably needs to actually happen quicker. The bell and the stone slab, its comebackins needs to drift a little bit more. And actually, no. What you need to do is this part, extend one, extend one. There we go. See how that works in context.
The bell! You had it all this time? Why didn't you
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
I think I need to...
Oh, I just... Oh, I just...
It needs to have more time showing the bell. Because I feel like there's not enough time to process. Oh, you know what might work? I think I know what'll work. Yep, I've seen it. That's actually from it. Oh, the final episode. If you're talking like the beginning, at the end of the beginning, or whatever that was called. Yeah. No, I think because sometimes once you put things in context, timing doesn't work, and I think that's the case with this. So, what I think to help connect these shots, it's gonna crash. If it is, I'm gonna load up another audio. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is there's got to be a lot of Scout doing other audio lines regarding impact, hitting, or laughing. And I'm thinking that I can utilize those.
Look at you chuckleheads down there. Hey, look at me, Ma. You seeing this? I don't know who to thank first. Oh, I know. Me. Play ball. Let's get them. Let's waste them.
Oh. Let's go back to our new ones. Why is that not loading the playlist? Hold on. Video is not available. If I close that one first. Video is not available. With that one. Video is not available. YouTube being weird. I'll go further on the list. How about this one? It said unavailable, but it loaded it, so who cares? Okay. Alright. Okay, what I actually want is, well, let me search for just VO Scout. Otherwise it's going to give me a whole bunch of other people's stuff with Scout in it. Does he have under L a laugh? Yeah.
I'm gonna beat on your skull till I hit tonsils. Man, your skull's so soft. You make dude, you'd get a closed casket at the ugly cemetery. No! Nice shot! And nice shooting there. Need a teleporter here. Ugh. Ugh. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Yo, we're on fire! Yeah. Alright. Woo! How you like me now, blockhead? Still think you're funny, funny man? Where the hell is that wizard? You know what? You're not scary. You're just weird. Nice catch, knucklehead. How's that feel, wimp? Downtown! Yo, heads up. Way to duck. Found my ball. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Pally.
Do I have to download the models and worlds from DeviantArt? Yeah. Not sure in regards to what one you're talking about. A lot of this stuff is either on the workshop or DeviantArt. That's where I got almost 98% of everything I have. What is it? Reaction towards YouTube removing some of your songs from your playlist? That's my playlist is just other people's
Yeah,
music.
thanks, Doc.
So,
Yeah, gotcha.
So if they're removing other people's music, it's because somebody claimed it. A lot of the ones I have are conglomerate sites that just took somebody else's music and put it on their own. So if somebody claimed it, it's because I was grabbing it from somebody else re-uploading it. So I'm not going to complain because that's right. But a lot of the stuff I get is from Prime Cronus and Trailer Music something. Because of that, they are a group thing, but they help people get noticed. But I've been trying to do it now where if I find something I like in Prime Cronus, I first do a search to find their actual YouTube channel with their original upload, and I grab that instead. But not all my stuff is.
Barpo Invisium! Woo! There's the bridge! It's here! Bridge is down! Woo! There's the bridge! Woo! There's the bridge! Look at the... Woo! Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass! Woo! Oh, I just clipped... Woo!
All this time? Why didn't you?
Woo!
Well,
Woo! 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 Oh, I just clipped...
I wonder if it's not the exact audio, but it's still show audio.
Woo! Oh, I just clipped...
the bell. You had it all this time? Why didn't you just?
Woo! Woo! Oh,
I wonder if it could actually work better with the silence.
The bell. You had it all this time? Why didn't you just?
Woo!
If I use these, they cannot be so loud. She's not in shot.
You just.
Woo! Oh, I just clipped... Woo! Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass! Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
You just. Why didn't you just? You just.
Okay, I think I'm going to shrink that back down again.
Woo! Oh, I just clippy clomp... Woo!
Didn't you just?
Woo! Woo! Woo!
You just.
Woo! Oh, I I just clipping.
I think this music change is a little bit drastic.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Woo! Oh, I just.
Let me see if
I just.
let's do this. Grab that. Well, I don't want to have it. If I put it too close to that, it's going to sound like it's Grogars that's making the sound. But it's supposed to be the scout that's doing it from her perspective.
Why didn't you just... Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your... Oh, I just...
Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
Well, you had it all this time? Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
That works a little better. What I didn't like was that it felt like all the audio was drifting to a silent location, and then it immediately picked back up again with the audio and the animation. It felt like a really big 180. This helps blend it where the audio picks back, changes when the bell hits. You don't really notice it. Goes to a more upbeat bit so that it fits better for what comes afterwards. Yeah, there is. If you're looking for pony content in terms of stuff, ponysfm.com. Most of them will link back to DeviantArt or a lot of those other locations, so it's a centralized location to get models from DeviantArt or Workshop, and it should link you to the originals. But yeah, that's a good place to go. It's easy to remember. It's either ponysfm.com or sfm-ponies.deviantart.com. But I think they got rid of subdomains. I can't remember. Yeah, I thought DeviantArt's changed a bunch of stuff, so I can't remember exactly.
Well, you had it all this time? Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
I think that'll work. Damn it.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
If I go to this point, would that work better? Oops.
Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
And all this time? Why didn't you just... You just... Why didn't you just...
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass. Clippy clomped my hoof up. My hoof clomped. Just clippy clomped my clippy clomped. Clippy clomped. Just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
I might give him an extra couple frames here.
Ass.
I can always cut it and post if I need, but I feel like if I don't have enough, especially with the waterfall running. I wonder if I can... put just a little bit of something into him here. that's cool. I'm wrong. Okay. Doesn't have any other flexes to really work with, so.
I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
I think it can work, but I think I just need to figure out the timing for it, which I won't worry about right now. Oh, he's not gonna teleport. Oh, I mean he can. Let's just go and like here can, let's see here. We'll even add a little bit of cool, like, transportation animation. Where he's going? Technically, I guess this would be. From here to here, he would be sideways. Yeah, well, the popping noise is the best. Yeah, if it was popping, then it would be. Actually, let's do. I think it's only pop noise. There is a way, like, I can't. I was gonna say you can just record mic, but I can't remember how. There it goes.
Off my hoof up your ass! Up your ass!
It's not the same pop noise, so it's kind of sad, but we'll keep that for now. It doesn't have any effect in the final, so. I love though the abridged guys do their stuff. They've actually between the Alisha videos and Rathlo stuff, I've actually had a couple of them message me on because for the Alisha, since it was based on their content. Takahata had messaged, retweeted and messaged saying, like on those, I think the second one, I didn't know I needed this for Alisha 2. Then they also remembered that I had made number 1, and so when I did the Rathlo stuff, Kaiser Neko had retweeted a couple of them a couple times, and then retweeted it once, and then like an hour later sent me a message on Twitter, and it says, "Oh, you're the one that did the Alisha thing too." And so it was kind of neat that they remembered that. So, yeah, that was really cool. They're cool guys.
Well, you had it all this time. Why didn't you tell? You
Should get the timing right. I think I'm gonna have to move everything over a little bit. Yeah, that makes some more sense. Probably gonna need like a thud. There's stone. It's flesh. Panels. Metal box. Metal. Soda. Weapon. Physics. Metal. Let's put that in. Bagok. No, I did that once already for when I said Scootaloo flying. I added a very subtle chicken noise, and I had a couple people comment on that. Of, did I hear a chicken? Because it goes. That actually could work. It could work, actually.
You had it all this time? Why didn't you
I might not. Anything I put in there, I feel it's not going to work. I might need to just do not impact noises, but like rock crumbling noises or something. Probably should actually look at these files first, but
Why didn't you
actually could work. That's actually not what I wanted to do. And now it's terminal deleted. I thought that was... I was fairly confident that was the one that I needed to remove, and I was wrong. Oops. I'm guessing that it's going to be this one. What's the one that's going to Splishy Splash? So it does look like it's this one. No. I'm confused. I disabled you and then it didn't remove you. So then I thought I deleted something else. You're still showing up. Ah. It's both of them. Oh, okay.
Why didn't you just... You just...
Starts. I have to have it start a little earlier. This also needs to be slightly. Oops. Actually. So it needs to be. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't work. Doing zeros first. Needs to be colored slightly. Like yellowish. Needs to be that dark, just in the yellow. Okay, so I'm not going to remember any of those values. Oh, no, yeah, I will. No problem. Okay. Oh, that's SFM. There we go. Shrink you down. The delete key doesn't always work on these. And I accepted it, so yeah. I don't know why, but sometimes the particle editor just starts accepting keys to do different things sometimes. Wait, no, that was correct. Yeah, because accept it. Or space accepted it last time, but now it's not. Now delete's working. Oh, yeah, okay. Just have to click them a couple times, and then they accepted color change. Okay, it doesn't really seem that. That yellow yet.
Why didn't you just...
So it's really colored the way I want it to be. Do I have to go really into the yellow? Yeah, now that actually feels pretty good. I'm gonna get those values again. I thought there was a button for it from there. That's fine. I have a feeling that this has an alpha property that is already making it semi-transparent, and it is. Okay, along with the splash, group that particles. Oh yeah, okay. I was like trying to like, where's the bones for the water? Because I was thinking about making the water like move, but I forgot this isn't actually water. It's oh, and I was gonna have. Okay, I need to see it. If I move this over time, it doesn't move with it. Okay, I need to figure out how to make it move with it. That'd be like lock to control point, movement, set to control point. See if that works. Because the intent was, No, the problem is it's not... I don't think the particle itself is moving with the point. It's going to spawn it at those points. I think I have to... I might be able to move it between the two control points. I might have to play with this later. Like, once it's actually done. Because what I wanted to do was have it be... And I'm thinking there's a way to lock it to the motion of. But, once everything's done, have the whole map move slightly. So that... Groger's thing is not going to work very well in this. But it was so that... give the... illusion of moving water.
Why didn't you
Because it's the map, I can't actually... if you can't move the models with... Or if you can't move the water around the models, move the models within the water, and it looks the exact same. So, that was the intent. But...
You had it all this time? Why didn't you
the problem is right now the bell is locked to the map, so it's not going to move with.
Why didn't you Why didn't you
So I'll have to... And that's easy enough to fix. Once it's fully animated, I don't need to have it locked to the world. The issue with it is part of his model, so if it's not locked to something, then what I will do is I'll make a model called, doesn't need to be called anything, but this will be called the Bell Map Blocker. I'm just going to put it in here, and it will have no purpose other than to be the location that it is locked to. Nothing more. Because now, if I move everything, it'll go with. Okay. Then that fixes that issue. I just didn't want to, like... I didn't want to have that be an issue later where I do everything and forget about it, and then I have this, like, whole other steps I have to do with. Because I forgot, and now it's a mess. Well, now I just fixed it before it became a problem. So, easy. Didn't get any Groger animating done today, but I did get essentially all her stuff is done.
Up your ass.
Well, yeah, then he GTFO'd.
Why didn't you
Got the bell basically animated. What I'm gonna have to probably still do. I'm actually going to copy, paste, so we'll get two of them, make it a little brighter, but I'm also going to copy, paste, going to give it a different key, and okay, that works fine, but it is not visible in that one section right there. Why? So you need to be higher. Oh. Ah. These are happening just below the surface. So I need to get these up to where they're just at the surface.
Why didn't you
Not quite crossing the surface. I don't want that. Okay. That was better.
never had it all this time? Why didn't you
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
Okay, I needed that. There's too much at once. I'm gonna keep the noise hidden, but not mute. Mute. But I gotta. It's too much happening at once to where it's just hard to follow.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my. Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
I like having that audio in here. Not just the bell, but the woo. It helps connect the two shots.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
I might just use the second half of that.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
I wonder if I'm gonna see if this works. It's not. Not gonna work right away because I'll have to play with it.
Clippy clomp.
Why didn't you
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
I like that actually. That helps.
Oh, I just.
I'll have to add a little bit more to these scenes to fill the background areas. But it's been a while since I've done a swing transition like that.
Oh, I just clippy.
Actually, for this one, I could extend it even. Well, no, kind of. You just take the little end of it and round it.
Oh, I just. Oh, I just. Oh, I just clippy.
Then, like, this one's pretty easy to fill for the shot that side. So how many frames is it transitioning? One, two. It's only 2 frames. I'm gonna make that 3.
Oh, I just. I just click up. Oh, I just. Oh, I just. Oh, I just clipping. Oh, I.
I think it might work still having her with the 2. Oh yeah, hers is fine because she had 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. She already had a couple. This first one didn't have enough.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass.
It helps draw the eyes across because otherwise it was like you're focusing here and then you're focusing here. So this helps bring it from one end to the other. But then for these, it's just copying rocks. So it's I don't even need to grab any of the important ones. Just grab some randoms. They're all gonna be just blurred. Oh no, those are little ones. I need to grab a big one. I pasted it. There it goes. But it needs to fill the room. Because anything that is seen as being water in the distance is going to be not what this scene is about. Hell, even the sky back there is technically not part of this. I have to make sure I'm not destroying the intent of some of these areas. Which I think I might have done here. Yep, a little bit. There. Hello, Kel-chan. Clumsy, I would say yes and no. It really depends on the shot. For this it works better because it's helping push your attention from one place to another. So I think that during like normal conversations and talking, you just want to cut, but it just depends. So like the one video I probably used cuts or like animated cuts the most was Remembrance, and and this is where I started experimenting with it because I wasn't exactly sure how to go about it. So this is where I started playing around with it. So for instance, this was a little bit of one where the camera was already panning that direction, so the next shot had it slightly, ever so slightly, just continue panning a little bit more that way into the next shot, just to help ease the transition for your head. And then here, it wasn't a camera transition, but it was a fade transition where it was about defocusing and then entering another shot that was out of focus and focusing back in. And I don't exactly 100% like how that transitioned. I wish I would have done that a bit better, but it still turned out pretty good. This is technically a transition between two different shots, though it's still the same visual one. It's just using the bright white light to move between visuals. There was... There's another one here. Oh, here. This one isn't exactly going in the same direction of, but it was about maintaining energy between each. But these next couple are all that way. they all come into the shot having this like already pre-made motion, and then here having it look like it's swinging up into another shot. So it really just depends on what you're doing at the time. There's another whiteout one. Some shots make it enhance it, some don't. I don't know when you would use one or the other. Just as see how it goes. Like a lot of people for comedy that they're doing quick cuts back and forth, I've seen it work. But if you're just having two people have a nice heartfelt conversation, don't be like swapping. One of my other favorite ones was the one right here. How she swings her head up, and it continues up in that path. That's probably one of my favorites in that transition. That and I still love that transition right through the wing. But I don't know. I loved the transitions in this video so much. I am proud of them very much so. And the lighting in that, do know is I can't remember. It's here today. So, if you look at, I'm trying to find a good example of some. We'll do the magic scenes. Some of these, so this is like the original render, but if you look at the actual, oh, I already closed it. If you look at the actual video, it is slightly different when you actually look at the two next to each other. Like you can, it's a lot harsher, like brighter on the eyes here. All these colors stand out a lot more. The colors pop more. I went through and did heavy post editing too. There's an option called vibrance in stuff. So for instance, I'll do this last part and then I'll call it a night. So you have we'll do, that's a good shot. We'll do okay, she's fairly in focus here. So let's say that I wanted to enhance this shot in post. Good, I still have Photoshop open too. Normally what I would, and all the same options are in Photoshop or in After Effects. There wasn't actually that many lights. There was a lot, each shot had its lights built very specifically for that shot and only that shot. I could go over a lot of the lighting that was in there, but it would take me another hour. I'll be streaming next Tuesday. If you can remind me, if you're there next Tuesday to cover the lighting, I can go and do it in detail for you. But normally what I would do for a lot of these, for almost any video I go into, is there's kind of at least two standard things I'll add, and one it will be vibrance, and the other will be levels. So what levels does is it's essentially just your balancing of contrast and brightness. The idea behind it for the most part, when you see this level, is this is saying where is your blacks, and this is saying where is your whites. So it's telling me that I have a lot more darker colors or lower darker hues compared to lighter hues. So if you want to have a nice contrast means that the difference between your darkest dark and your lightest light is as far as possible. Meaning that the highest contrast to have possible in here would be where the edge of whatever my light mass is its darkest point, and its furthest right point would be its furthest edge on the right. Kind of. So these little bars are telling you where your blackest black is. So normally, like here, I can see the spikes right here. So I'm just going to bring this in just a little bit to about that edge. So I'm basically saying that anything that is above this is pure black. I'm increasing how much stuff is black. If I keep going, I'm going to be increasing how much is black. So I'm just going to bring that in a little bit to that edge. And then here, I can't really bring it into here to make that, because there's still a lot of stuff here. So to optimize contrast, I could put it to like here. But that's not really going for the feel that I want. I'm getting high contrast, but it's not really giving me the final effect. So normally I would just bring it in a little bit. The middle then is just kind of giving preference. So you can go, do I want to move more of the light in here, or do I want to move more of the dark? I'm sometimes will play with this a little bit. Like for this shot, I'll probably actually bring it a little bit to the right here and then bring the white up just a little bit more. All right. This one I don't really ever play with. This because it's a washout. I haven't seen a need for it. If you play with these too much too, you might see like splotching up here in the background because you're messing with the colors a lot. Oops. Put that back there. Okay. Then for vibrance, SFM does a pretty good for having the bright colors, but it doesn't make them as bright as you probably would want. Vibrance is not just about increasing the saturation, it's about doing subtle increases to color, so it helps make the pastel pony feel a lot more pastel. So in vibrance, I'll normally pump this up quite a bit. So usually between 30 and 50 I'll put it. This one might be we're working at 30 because there's so much other color. I probably don't need to touch saturation at all, but it's very subtle, but it just helps it brings all the colors into pop more. Because we're kind of in our cave here, I think I might have to put that brightness up a little bit more. Yeah, we'll do that. And then every now and then I'll add a photo filter. Photo filter is just about adding a color of some sort. Being this is in a cave, I could say I want to add more orange to the shot. I mean, that's going to be an extreme, but this could be like, wow, I need a little bit more on the yellow. Oh, yeah, I'll do a little bit more towards yellow. Okay. So this would be no addition. I'm just adding a little bit. Does it help at all? No, I'm not going to put it below them. Maybe. But without everything, this is what it would look like. And then when you add everything, that's what it would look like in post. So you do a little bit of post work and it actually can go a long ways. If you're inside of a dark area, adding a vignette is useful. So here I'm just going to add a blank white layer, lens correction, custom vignette. We're just going to bring that in a little bit. And then I can't remember which one it is, multiply, yeah. So even on this I could use it because it helps frame and focus everybody's attention away from the corners and bring it more towards the center. I don't think I had that and was using that in Remembrance, but I have had it in plenty of other videos that I've done. Leaving the stable, whenever she was in the vault, I had a heavy amount on the sides because it just it made it feel better. It made it feel more accurate. There it is. Let me see, there's a shot. Yeah, so you can kind of see it when it comes around the corner here. Oh, yeah, you can see it. So this, see how it's darker on the edges? Because I added a vignette. You can see it here. That's why it's dark in this corner. Hell, you can even see it when it comes to this a little bit, because this normally would be a white light when rendered, but the vignette's coming in and covering it up and making it slightly darker. But it really helps bring everything to the center. It makes it have a better underground feel. And I think I even pumped it up even more when she was like out here. I'm pretty sure I really made it a lot darker. So those help too. So it's not always about doing good lighting in SFM. To me, it's also just in post, just bring in your lights and your darks just ever so slightly and bump your vibrance up. That'll go a long ways. But I do it in everything. But otherwise, that is going to be it for me. I am done. We did make some good progress, so that is a good. Well, not much visual progress, but now we know. I didn't know what direction I was going to go with him. I thought I was going to have to animate him getting hit and falling down. That would be a lot of work. This is a lot easier. So, and it's, I think, more comedic. So that works. You got the audio. I think all the scenes are finished with how I'd want them to be. I think that might be a bit too fast. I might need to slow that down. I'll have to do a test render. If it's going too fast, slowing down is pretty easy, so that's not a problem. But normally, it might look extra blurred. See, and this is how it's actually going to render. It's going to render her looking clear, and then blurred again. It's easy to fix, but it's annoying. In this transition, I'm just going to do flat change, because it's already from focusing here to focusing here. No change. That's probably too much at once.
Oh, I just clippy clomped my hoof up your ass!
Yeah, it's too much. But still.
Ass! Your ass! There! Oh,
He's not happy. I will be back on next Tuesday. Well, next Tuesday is New Year's Eve. So we'll see what's going on New Year's Eve. That'll be the plan right now. I wanted to see if I could actually get this out before the end of the year. If I did that, I'd have to actually work on it this weekend. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. The idea was, no anthology I put out this year, but I don't think I put out anything non-anthology this year, which seems like a long gap, so why not just put something out right before the end of the year? Yeah, I mean, I can do a New Year's Eve stream, but I feel like there's going to be, a lot of people are going to probably be already doing stuff. If nobody's doing anything, I don't mind it, because I don't think, and as of right now, I don't have anything planned, but we've always had something planned almost every year, so, the last couple of years. Oh yeah, because you're in the future. Well, actually, wait. We start the stream at 6, which is 11 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah, I guess. My New Year's and your New Year's is different, so it'd be kind of difficult. I don't know. I'll see. If anything, maybe I'll run it earlier in the day because I don't work that day. I have it off. Oh, so we started at midnight. Nah, no, I'm off that Tuesday, so I can start it earlier if I wanted. But I'll have to see if we have this in plan. Whatever, I'll figure that out later. I'll post stuff when I get it figured out. All right. Well, if I don't see you, have a good New Year's, and see you in 2020. We're gonna be doing this for millions of years. You're stuck with me, so okay. Bye bye, have kitty, and farewell. Kind of a sad song.